how introverts can network. So I'm going to kick this off with that topic, how introverts can network. If you are an introvert, let's get into it. Now, first of all, why are we talking about this? It's because networking is damn useful, okay? It's an unfortunate fact of life that more opportunities present themselves to you if you are in contact with many people. If you wall yourself off from everyone else around you, okay, you don't communicate with them, you don't hang out with them, and you build a wall around you so that you're not hearing what's going on, you're not hearing what's up with them. A lot less opportunities will come your way. That's just a fact of life. And if you are an introvert and you are missing out and you look around you and you see how more sociable, more extroverted people are doing great things and opportunities are coming to them and not you, this is probably why that's happening, because this is a well-known fact. Okay. And if you want to get on in the business world, if you want to climb the ladder, usually networking is something that you just have to do. It's that simple. The more people you know that can help you, the more help you'll get. It's just that simple. So that's why this is important. Now, hopefully everyone here understands the importance of doing this, and it's something that you've realized you want to do more of, and that's why you're here. So I don't have to sell you on why this is useful. We can talk about how to do it, okay? For example, a lot of extroverted people tend to go very far, and it's because they're always rubbing elbows with people that can help them in some way, right? And it's not this slimy thing that a lot of introverts think it is. It's just people talking. You know, somebody says, oh, you know, I can do this. And somebody else says, oh, you know, I actually can use someone who can do that. You know, maybe we should get together and we get some arrangement going, right? Now, is that slimy? Is that underhanded? Is that unfair? I don't think so. That's just two people talking, you know? That's just the nature of it. Now, this topic is also relevant to us if we're talking about how to get a job, because if you don't already know this, the most popular method that people get jobs is not by answering job ads, it's by networking. Okay, now if you ask most people who are currently employed and you say, how did you get your job? They're not going to say, well, I applied to an internet job posting completely cold because I didn't know anyone at the organization. I just sort of sent in my resume and now I'm here, right? Some people will say that, but most people will say, I got this job through some form of networking. I had some kind of personal connection. Either I know someone at the company, maybe a former coworker of mine who got hired here before me, or a friend or a family member, or, you know, some kind of connection. I met somebody at an event and they told me about the company they work at and that, you know, they're looking for people. And so I applied and I mentioned their name and they made sure that I did the application process well. And, you know, or I got a personal recommendation from them or whatever, right? That's what most people are going to say. So if you don't know anything about networking, you're starting from scratch. I'm going to talk about one method, like probably the most basic method you could possibly do. Okay. And some people are in the chat. Pastelino is here, says, hey, dude, how are you? Well, dude, I'm doing fine. Thanks for being here. Yes. Anyway, so getting back, this is the most basic method you can do. Now, this is for people who do not have an affinity, shall we say, meeting and talking to other people in person, face to face, and are not super comfortable being on the phone and having cold calls. Okay. Obviously, for people who are comfortable doing those things, there's a lot of other things you can do. But for people that are truly introverted, they don't know what to do, and they're not great in person. They don't have the personal charisma thing, like they're not winning any awards for it. This is something that you might be interested in. Okay, so hopefully I've done the intro there. Everybody understands what networking is. Okay, if you think networking is hard, you might not know really what it is, because the word networking encompasses many, many different things, many different techniques, many different ways of operating. Okay, you don't have to be a super extroverted person to do it. Okay, something that can really help you is if you can have a conversation with somebody. Okay, like if you are comfortable asking questions to someone about what they do, or you're comfortable answering questions that someone might have to you about what you do. Okay, now hopefully you at least can do that. If you can do that, that's all you really need. Okay, so imagine you are new to a city. Okay, you might live in a city, you might live in a rural area, like a region of a country. But imagine you have just moved to a new place and you know nobody there in professional circles. Okay, and let's say you're looking for a job, or you might have a job and you're looking for a better job. Okay, imagine that scenario. That's what we're going to be envisioning here. Okay, now this is what I'm going to talk to you about, is a very simple way of reaching out to people. Okay, now I've talked about this many times in the course of my live streams, because it always comes up, because it's the method I would recommend for people to get a job. Okay, so if you are a regular listener of my live streams, you might recognize a lot of this. Okay, we're going to use two tools to do this. Okay, one is Google Maps, and the other one is LinkedIn. Okay, these are two incredibly useful tools. And if we have access to these tools, it alleviates the necessity to go out in person and go to events and meet people face to face to discover who to talk to. Okay, obviously there's a lot of things you can do in person, and they're often very effective. But if you want to avoid that at all costs, we can do a substitute using these two tools. Okay. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reaching out to people that can help us, that may have opportunities for us. Okay. Now, imagine you're in a certain industry. Okay. Whatever it is that you do, whatever industry you're in. Okay. What would be very useful to do would be able to find out how many organizations there are around us where we live. Okay. In our city, in this new city that we're in, how many organizations work in that industry? Okay, that would be useful to know, right? Where they are, what they're called. And then it would also be nice to know, within each of those organizations, what individuals are in those organizations that are the decision makers. Like, they have power to hire people, to partner with people, right? To give out contract work or whatever, or hire permanent employees, whatever it is that you're looking for. Okay. In, a previous life of mine, it was also, the people you would talk to that would form partnerships, right? Like vendors, suppliers that would partner with your business, right? But it's the same technique. Okay. So it'll be useful to know that, right? Well, using Google Maps and LinkedIn, we can do this, right? So what you do is you go to Google Maps. Now, I've done a video that demonstrates me walking you through this, where you can see my screen, and I'm actually doing this in real time in the links of this live stream. I don't want to necessarily get you to leave right now, but if you are interested, there's a video called How Successful People Get Jobs. That's a sort of visual demonstration of this that you can check out after I've said my piece here. Okay, so you first get onto Google Maps and you go to Google Maps and you type in the name of your city, or if you live in a rural area, your region. Okay, and so what you should see is a big sort of map of your city, right? And there's a little search box at the top of the screen. And what you can do is, when you are in Google Maps, when you type something in the search box, it won't just give you like web page results. It'll give you geophysical results, whatever you call it, geographic results on a map, right? So for example, if you were to type in the name of your city, and you can do this in real time, I encourage you to do this. Go to the search box and type in, say, I don't know, think of an industry, say manufacturing, okay, just for want of something, okay? What you should see on the map is you'll see all these little dots pop up, and they will be all the manufacturing related businesses in your hometown, right? Now, if you live, if you live in a certain part of the city, okay, say you live right in the center of town, right? Okay, and let's say the city is big, so there's a sort of radius that would be your commuting distance, okay? Unless you're doing a purely remote job, you would want to be in somewhat close geographic proximity to your place of work, right? So you'd be interested only in the businesses that are within a certain distance from you, say within 1 hour's drive, or whatever criteria you have. Okay, so you would narrow it to look at only those businesses that popped up near you. Okay, now let's say you typed in manufacturing, you only got like 5 things that popped up near you. Okay, you can read, so you take note of those 5 businesses. You can mouse over the each of those businesses. You can see their name, their contact information. Obviously, it shows you their physical location, right? And then you can redo the search. Instead of manufacturing, you say, injection molding or something like that. Like if you work in plastic manufacturing or something. So you do another search for injection molding, and that's another industry that's related to manufacturing. And you get another 10 businesses pop up near you. Okay, so now you've got a total of 15, right? Now, these are businesses that work in that particular industry. Now, if you happen to be in manufacturing, or more specifically in injection molding, these would conceivably be businesses that could hire someone like you, okay? Or you would want to work with in some way. Maybe, if you're a bit higher level, you could be a consultant, or, whatever, or partner with them in some way, okay? So great, you know the names of the businesses around you that are in your industry. You can redo this search many times to find organizations near you that have a potential to hire someone like you. They conceivably could use your skills. So if you were an engineer, for example, you could type in engineering or design, or manufacturing. Like all these searches would be relevant, and different things pop up on your map. And these are all organizations that conceivably could be hiring engineers like you. Okay, so that's kind of the first hurdle over. We can find potential employers around us, right? Now, at any given time, are all these companies hiring? No, they won't be. Most of them won't be. Okay. I don't know what percentage is, but at a rough guess, I would say maybe 5 to 10% of them are actually hiring officially. That means they might have a job posted on their website. Okay, so in Google Maps, when all these dots pop up on the map, you can mouse over and you can see their information. It also gives you a link to their website if they have one, right? So you can go from there directly to their website and check out the careers tab if that's the way you want to go. Okay. However, that's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is, first of all, everyone has to realize that even though, let's pretend 5% of these businesses have actually posted jobs right now, more than that are actually hiring, but they haven't posted a job publicly. And the reason for that is because they don't need to, because it's a very in-demand job. And those jobs, they have plenty of candidates already, so they don't need to be posted publicly to find more, right? That's a whole other topic. That's called the hidden job market. Anyway, so the point is, a lot of these companies are hiring either officially or unofficially right now. Now, let's be conservative and say it's only 10%. Usually it's more than that, but let's say it's only 10%. So that means if you find 100 dots on the Google map that's near you in your city, okay, if there's 100 of them, 10 are hiring right now. Okay. And these are companies or organizations that are in your industry, that are physically near you, that are actively looking to hire right now. Okay. Some of them will have posted a job on their website, and it's an official, job search where they've paid an outside HR firm to search for candidates, post the job publicly, and do an initial screening. Or maybe it's a bigger company and they have their own HR people in-house that are doing this exact thing, right? Or they're hiring unofficially and, even though they haven't posted a job on their website, they're still actually looking to fill some positions. They're wanting to create new positions and fill them with people. The bosses of different departments are wanting to hire, extra team members for their teams. Okay, but they haven't actually posted on their website. Okay, so you've identified those people. Now, how do we see inside those organizations to look at the individuals, the actual people that are making the decision? Should I hire someone? Should I work with somebody outside the company? Right? Okay, so that's where LinkedIn comes in. Now that you have a list of companies or organizations in your area, what you can do is you can go to LinkedIn and you can do a search for that company. You can do a people search where you type in the name of that company or organization and you limit the search to, say, your city. So you're not finding like companies that are called the same name that are halfway around the world or something. But it finds that company in your city and it's a people search. So it brings back the names of the individuals that have LinkedIn accounts. And in this day and age, a lot of people have LinkedIn accounts. So usually when you do this, you enter the company and you hit search, you get several results. Bam, there's the CEO. Bam, there's a board member. Bam, there's a vice president. Bam, there's a mid-level manager. Bam, there's a supervisor. Bam, 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 here are some workers or employees that work there, right? Okay, so for each company or each organization, you will get usually multiple people, okay? Now, LinkedIn not only finds these people for you and says, oh, this is the CEO, this is their name, this is their profile, so you can look at the equivalent of their resume. It doesn't only just serve up this information, it's also a means for you to then send a message to these people, okay? So the question now becomes, if I wanted to contact that company, if I want to reach out and say something like, hello, are you hiring? Or hello, do you ever hire someone with the same skills that I have? Okay. The question is, who should we contact and how can we do this? Okay. Now, from this point on, obviously, there are multiple ways of doing this. Okay. Like different people may have different opinions. Okay. Now, having done this myself and built a consulting business out of this over several years, what I would recommend is the following. Okay, don't talk to the people down here, the workers, because they can't help you. They can't hire or fire or create a job or create a partnership with you. They can't do that. They also don't know very much when it comes to that stuff because that's not their job. Okay. Don't talk to the people in the middle, the mid managers, because they usually are overworked. Okay. They're very, very busy. They don't usually have a lot of time to entertain queries from people coming from outside the company, external people asking them questions. That's not usually part of their job. Okay. To deal with that. Right. There's some exceptions to that. Like if you're in sales or something, yes, you're dealing with outside people and you have to represent your organization well, but usually those people, they're not the best people to talk to. Okay. However, what is unbeknownst to a lot of people is that the executives, okay, number one, they actually have more time to deal with this kind of thing than middle managers. That's something that's surprising to a lot of worker level people. But secondly, it's actually also part of their job description that they represent the organization well publicly to the public and that they entertain unsolicited queries from the public, like what you're about to do. when you send a message to someone in the company. Okay. Don't try to go to the bottom up and go to a switchboard and try to get routed up. Instead, go to the top, and then if it goes anywhere, it'll come down to the appropriate person. Okay. So if you can, talk to the owner or the CEO. They're the best people to talk to for this. Okay. For what we're about to do. Okay. That's who you want to target if you can. For example, I've done this. I've talked to something like 300 CEOs, or I don't know, several hundred, like on LinkedIn. And then I've done over 100 informational interviews, mainly with CEOs that came from this, like people I didn't know beforehand, but requested an informational interview, and they said, sure. Okay, so these are also the people that can help you. Why would you talk to a CEO? Now listen, when I say CEO, I'm talking about a CEO of a local company. Okay, we're not talking like hotshot Fortune 500 CEOs here that are like major celebrities. We're talking like typical CEOs. I was a CEO, someone who has a company that employs 50 people, right? They're either the owner or they're managing it on behalf of the owner, right? Okay, that's the person I'm talking about. Okay, so their title could be CEO, or it could be owner, or anything like that. So what you're going to do is you're interested in those people, not the workers, not the mid-level managers, but the people at the top that are running the top. They have the power to hire you if they like you, right? If they meet you and, they happen to be knowing that they have to hire someone, right? And then they meet you and you say, hey, I've got what you're looking for. They might think, oh, let's give this person a chance, right? That happens. That's happened to me many times. So that's how this stuff works, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to send them just a very brief template message. This is the simplest thing you could possibly do, okay? Some people could argue that you should use InMail, like that's a feature of LinkedIn, and you just send them a message directly. I don't recommend that. What I actually recommend is that you connect with them first, and then you send them a message. Now, when I've done this, I can't remember the exact percentage. It's like 20 to 30% of people that you send a connection request to will connect to you. So if you send a connection request to 100 people, 20 to 30 will connect to you. And then of those people, if you then, now that you're connected and you can send them a message easily, and you send a template message, something like 20% of them will respond favorably. They'll say, let's get together, or whatever it is that you're asking for. We're not going to ask for a meeting in our example. Okay, so I don't know what I'd recommend for the simplest possible thing. The simplest possible thing would probably be to send an InMail, but I really don't recommend that. I would recommend that you connect with them. So you could say, oh, I noticed that we have some connections in common, or something like that. I'd very much like to add you to my network, right? Now, if you have an executive that never checks their LinkedIn account, doesn't care about LinkedIn, they're not going to respond, okay? If you have a person at the other end that's actually paying attention to LinkedIn, and isn't completely turned off by the fact that they don't know you, then they will respond. So as I say, when I've done this, you get 20 to 30% response. So 100, all you have to do is blast out 100, template messages to connect with someone, and you'll get like 20 to 30 new connections. All CEOs, and I'm talking about CEOs exclusively here. And, then you would send them a second message. And the second message is basically what you want to communicate. And that simple message would be the form of, hello, my name is X, my name is Bill, whatever your name is. This is what I do. I solve this problem. Like I'm an engineer, and, I have skills in this area. If ever you're looking to hire an engineer that can be very productive and very enthusiastic, please let me know, because I would love to work for you. thank you, thank you, have a great day, something like that. Like, that's the message. You're not wanting a response. You're just saying, if ever you're looking for this, I'm this, please let me know. Now, the theory here, the way this works is that most companies right at this second are not hiring, but some of them are, okay? And about 10 to 20% are either officially hiring or unofficially, okay? And if they are, they will be interested. And if they haven't posted the job, then they're not going to get a lot of applicants for it. It will be just a couple of people they know. They're assessing a couple of internal candidates, or the boss has thought, who could be interested in this? Oh, I know somebody at another company that might be interested in this. So they tell them, right? But then you happen to land right in their lap. And so they think, hey, this might be another contender, right? So that's why they would be interested in responding to you, because they just happen to be looking for someone with your skills right now. And that would be maybe 10% of the companies that you contact. Okay. So you can play the percentages game. So if you contact 100 people and you send out connection requests to 100 people, let's be conservative, say 20 accept. And of those 20, 10% are hiring right now. So that would be 2. So you send out 100 connection requests. That results in 2 people respond back to you that say, hey, we should get together and talk because we might have something. Or tell me more, something like that, right? And that's the simplest way for an introvert to reach out to the employers around you, or if you're at a higher level, people that have other opportunities, and you can discover them, you can give your value proposition to them, and you can initiate contact. And then what happens after that, if it's successful, is they invite you in. They say, hey, can you come down and meet me, maybe at my office or, someplace nearby. Usually Starbucks are very good for these things. And let's talk, right? And if you go this route, it does not feel like a job interview, okay? Because you haven't begged them to come in. They've invited you in. They've requested that you come in, right? It feels like a referral. It's a completely different vibe, a completely different dynamic. It's a lot more positive. And usually these are much, much more fruitful than going through the job interview process. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. If you want more details, I have, as I said, a video in the that's linked to in the description box of this live stream. So check that out. It's called How Successful People Get Jobs. Okay, and this is based on something I've done. This is not like theory or whatever. I've done this for years. Okay, so it is definitely a thing. But I like it because it's a way for introverts, people who don't understand networking, don't even understand the importance of it, to step into that world and make connections with people that can help you, okay? People up here can help you, okay? They have jobs to offer you. They can create positions for you if they really like you. And the advantage of doing this is that if they have 1,000 people that have applied for a job, okay, those people have sent their applications in through official channels, meaning they've gone in through the bottom, through the recruiters, okay, and maybe they try and come up to the managers. You've gone in through the top door. You've talked to the person at the top, and if they're hiring, that person can refer you downwards to that same manager at the middle, who's the decision maker on hiring for this particular worker job. And there's nothing more powerful than the CEO handing your resume to a manager or a director of HR and saying, look into this person. I had a meeting with them and I kind of like them, right? Nothing more powerful than that. You can be sure that they will take your application seriously. And that's usually almost a guarantee that you'll definitely get an interview. Okay. So, there are many advantages into doing this kind of thing. Hopefully, I've managed to sort of give you the rough idea of like the simplest, most basic way of doing networking, of reaching out what it would look like. You don't have to talk to a single person. You don't have to persuade a single person. The only people that you would talk to are people that have specifically asked you to come in and speak with them. Okay. And what I was going to say earlier was, if they've received 1,000 applicants that have gone in sort of through the bottom door, you're the only one that anyone has met. And if they've requested that you come in and talk to them, they've met you. They've met you before any job interviews happened. So the question then becomes like, do we just go with this person? If they're good enough, why not? Or, do we ignore this person that has demonstrated their professionalism and their communication skills and their enthusiasm and their initiative by reaching out to us? They've elevated themselves above the crowd by being the only one that's reached out to us. And that proves that they're interested and that they're capable, right? You've also demonstrated your communication skills by how you've sent these messages, right? If they're phrased very professionally, they've gone to the right person, you say appropriate things, right? So anyway, like, I could go on forever, but hopefully that makes sense. Okay, I've spent a lot more time on this than I wanted to, but you can know absolutely nobody in this new city, and you can reach out and you can get a lot of tailor-made opportunities come to you. Okay, so that's the deal, and you don't have to impress a recruiter. You're talking to the straight to the decision maker. Okay, so hopefully this helps, but this is one way that Introverts Can Network. It's probably the easiest way to just get started. If you want to know more, I do have like the full deal with templates and all that kind of in this course. I go into much more detail than I can here properly with, a lot of resources and stuff like that.